that. First off, in order to get to that level, to get to a solid foundational level of certainty, you do need a healthy level of skepticism. And I think then there's kind of that fine balance of being overly skeptic and not getting things done, kind of tripping over your own feet because you're not allowing yourself to naturally progress towards whatever level of certainty you're trying to attain. And then on the other end, you can just be have zero filter, just through ignorance and accept whatever's being presented to you and take that from as a certainty without doing any due diligence. Could you kind of touch on that kind of level of skepticism, and is there a healthy balance?
Yeah, definitely. So my recommendation is not against the craziest level of skepticism. Like I'm pro as skeptical as you want to be. Well, no, let me adjust that slightly. I'm pro being the ultimate skeptic. But I think if you're going to do that, you have to do it all the way. You don't get to play this game of like, I'm going to turn up the skepticism against things that I don't like and then live the rest of my life not in that mode. If you're going to be a full skeptic, you got to go all the way. And the real skeptic epistemology erodes absolutely everything except for one certainty, which I detailed in my first book I've mentioned before. The only thing that you can be absolutely certain about under the most stringent epistemological skepticism is that existence exists. Nothing about yourself, nothing about nothing qualified, nothing extended, just the pure existence of existence. That's the only thing that's certain. Um, so I'm all in favor of that, and that's what my first book's about. But when you get into this middle ground where you're going to play the skeptic card when you sort of feel like it, but then not play it in other realms, then what you're doing is using skepticism um, as a dogma. Like basically, you're using skepticism to hold at arm's length anything that you think seems far-fetched, and then just accepting whatever you assume is well documented or whatever else. So I really have no love. I don't that kind of approach drives me crazy because it's just like it's unfair. You're not playing a fair game. Like be consistent. So so you can either be consistent and go all the way with super skepticism. But even in that case, it can take you amazing places, as it did me. But then you're still going to get up in the morning and eat breakfast. And you're not going to look at a banana and be like, is this really a banana? Should I eat this? What if it turned poisonous overnight? And it's actually a shape-shifting interdimensional caterpillar that's going to take over my brain after I eat it. Like, no, it's a banana. Like, just eat the banana and that's your breakfast. So, um, what I point out here in this chapter is that as long as we are um, uh, what do I say? Accepting of basically not rebelling. We're content not to rebel against like everything, which is a hellish state to be in, kind of definitionally, if you think that you're in, it's kind of like the Gnostic matrix thing of like, we're in a trap and I'm pretty sure this is all an illusion, but I can't control the fact that I'm stuck here and it gets, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, that is a problem. But once you're like, okay, I'm here and there's a purpose why I'm here, and I'm willing to just start from that foundation, then what is pretty obvious to realize is in terms of skepticism, right here, we would not be skeptics if we did not believe in the significant effects and therefore purpose of the skeptic approach. So skepticism is not really a foundational approach. It is something that is built on, it is a tool that's used for a certain purpose. Purpose is more foundational than skepticism. You can be skeptical of purpose, but the only thing that that does is make you feel anxious, and then you overlook the fact that you are purposefully questioning skepticism for the purpose of making sure that you're sure about things. But it's like, okay, but your purpose is already there. Like you're overlooking the fact that purpose is inevitable. So I think that's the balance. Is purpose is inevitable, and you can just start there. Because I'm here for a purpose. You don't really have a choice. You kind of have a choice, but really, like you're here for a purpose, and that purpose is good. You can question whether it's good, but you only do that because you think it's good to question things. So you're here for a good purpose. So start from there, and then you can use skepticism on top of that as a tool. As I said, I think you need to apply it evenly. So if you're going to be intensely skeptical here, you need to be intensely skeptical there. And I think that's the biggest thing is putting it at the right level, not pretending or not being tricked into believing that you are like fundamentally a skeptic, that you're like at the core of your being is this skeptical thing, because it's not and it never will be. And then being consistent and having integrity when you're applying your skepticism. So I think that's the key and the balance there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when you think of the consistency of being a skeptic, I mean, humans are fallible, we've learned, and so many times we're not consistent in that. And I like the banana analogy, and there's one that you make in the book as well. It's like a lot of the scientists that build upon the knowledge of others to advance a specific theory or whatever the case may be, they're not going through the exact same studies to get to the point to where they got. You were building upon their progress. And so if you took the time to really get down as a skeptic to unravel everything they've done, um, then you, by the time you're ready you'd be passing the same exact knowledge on because you've just spent all of your time doing that. It's funny that we're talking about this because um, it's political season, and so everyone's, talking about it. And, I've had two conversations with people that have differing political ideologies, and they were civil conversations. I mean, you see on YouTube or you see on social media, people are just freaking out. And it's like, that's true. People are, because they've bought into this idea of their entire world's going to crash down now because they've been getting news and information from a particular source without engaging in skepticism to see if it's true or not. But I remember as I was talking to these people, just naturally, I thought like, okay, these people could be in a psyop or something, because they've just bought into this idea without doing the work. And so I'm thinking to myself, are the points that I'm defending part of a psyop too? Like, do I
Right.
really know? I mean,
Right.
like we're having these discussions, which are really important to have. And yes, these things are happening, they're real, but we're so disconnected from it on a like, on a level of being like a peasant, versus
Yes.
people in the White House that it's like I'm talking about, politicians. I don't know if they're good people, on the screen. It looks like they
Right.
be a good person, but
Right.
and I like the things they say, but it's like I don't know.
Right.
It's not like I can defend, a politician on the same level as I can defend you. I mean, I know you, Rob,
Right.
And
Exactly.
so it's just that's interesting to think of. And
And I
yep.
think that's the uncomfortable level that even skepticism puts you at, because it's like, you know, I mean, it's sort of a modern trope. It's like, the people I disagree with are brainwashed.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, the characteristic of being brainwashed is like you don't think you're brainwashed and you think everyone else is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like if you're
Yeah.
if you're just serious about it, like we could be brainwashed. You
Yeah.
and I happen to agree on a lot of stuff, and we could be brainwashed.
Yeah.
And that is just what's true.
Yeah.
And no one wants to sit there and be like, everyone wants to sit there and be like, oh, those other people are brainwashed. But no one
Right.
wants to sit there and be
Yeah.
like, man, is it me?
Are we
It
all
might be
brainwashed?
me. Oh shoot, is it me? And I think it adds to this because so much of it happens around politics and stuff people have taken stands on and basically had this performance of like, yes, this is the hill I'm going to die on. And like once you've said that and once you've made that sort of a thing that's part of your persona,
Right.
then it's harder to be like,
Yeah.
maybe that wasn't a great call, you know?
Right. Right.
So yeah, I don't have a solution, but
And